Justin Trudeau doesn't belong at a union meeting. That's my perspective, and yet we saw Justin Trudeau at Unifor's national convention yesterday, where he, to rounds of applause, talked about how his party supports unions and how they support unions in their effort to build the middle class, and on and on and on and on. But we know that Justin Trudeau isn't an ally of working people and unions. We've seen this over his tenure. We've seen his government attack postal workers and their constitutional right to strike and bargain collectively. We've seen his government choose CEO golden parachutes over protecting pensions. We've seen his government reject the need for a Green New Deal. And we've seen his government demand that public servants take wage increases that are sub-inflation. Justin Trudeau and his government through Bill Morneau have even attacked the basic idea of good, stable jobs for young people. They've said that young people should never hope to have good, stable jobs, that they need to embrace the job churn. None of this is indicative of a government or a prime minister that supports working people and unions. Rather, it's indicative of a government that has the same sort of corporate and elite interests that the Liberal Party has always had. And yet Unifor invited them to their convention, and to me that's quite troubling. Unifor has always been an ABC union, ABC meaning anything but conservative, meaning that they've sort of been non-partisan insofar as they support any party that isn't the Conservative Party. And whether you agree with that position or not, that's a position that many groups in Canadian society have, including some other unions. But this inviting of Trudeau to their convention, and also Chrystia Freeland, one of Trudeau's cabinet ministers, to the convention, and there seemingly being no slots for NDP speakers at the convention. Former NDP Ontario leader Stephen Lewis is there, but he's not there in his capacity as NDP leader or former NDP leader. There's no NDP slots at that convention. Indicate that Jerry Diaz and Unifor aren't just strategic Liberal supporters right now. They're actual Liberal supporters. They're not just with Trudeau because they feel that right now he can beat Scheer. They're with Trudeau because he's their guy now. That the Jerry Diaz-Justin Trudeau alliance is stronger than maybe we even thought. But this raises a whole bunch of issues from my perspective. Again, Justin Trudeau and his Liberal Party, just a few months ago, attacked the charter rights of postal workers. And yet now, Unifor is inviting the architect of that attack on the charter to their convention and celebrating him as a champion of workers, as a champion of unions, as a champion of the quote-unquote middle class. But what does that say about Unifor? To me, that says that the union's leadership doesn't really care about solidarity. Unifor has had a lot of issues in this regard. In fact, one of the reasons they're outside of the CLC right now is because they raided CLC member unions and wouldn't stop raiding, so were given the choice, leave or stop raiding or we'll boot you, and so they chose to leave. And now they're outside the House of Labor. And so they're finding alliances with the corporate Liberal Party. And it says that they don't really care about the rights of postal workers. Here's a recent Facebook post, just from last night, from former CUPW President Mike Palasek, who was the president during the time when Justin Trudeau was legislating postal workers back to work. Again, against the basic fundamentals of the charter. And Mike said that he reached out to Jerry Diaz for support. And Jerry didn't give it at the time. And Mike was sympathetic because Jerry was going through his own fight with Unifor and the GM closures, and he was understanding. But now he sees that Jerry Diaz and Unifor are having a convention where they welcome that charter rights violator, Justin Trudeau, as an ally, as a friend, as a champion. And they didn't invite any NDPers there. And the NDP, of course, was the party that protested vociferously that violation of the charter. What does that say about Unifor? I don't think it says anything good about that union. And I get it. I get that Unifor thinks they have a special relationship with Justin Trudeau. I understand that. I don't like it, but I get it. But this isn't real. Justin Trudeau does not give one single damn about working class people. Right now, Justin Trudeau is trying to consolidate the anti-conservative vote. But he actually doesn't care about progressives. He only needs them to win. What Unifor is doing right now, in this uncritical support of the Liberal Party, is what hurt the American labor movement for decades. They never backed a Labor Party. They always thought that the center-right Democrats were their ticket to progress. And at times that gave results. But over time, the American Democratic Party, they realized that Labor had no real pressure to put on them. because there was no left-wing party. There was no Labor Party, even as a third party, even as a small third party, to really keep the Democrats honest. And so, over time, American labor standards declined as they were under attack by both Democrats and Republicans. And so this is why the United States had such low union density rates and has such low working standards and has such high levels of inequality. It's because the labor movement there never had a steadfast political ally to keep the center-right parties honest. And Unifor right now, in aligning with one of those parties, is helping to bring that situation to fruition. Unifor thinks that maybe because they're, a steadfast liberal union, they'll get special treatment. I don't know. But what I do know is Justin Trudeau's eventual goal is to destroy every party to the left of his so that he never has to be accountable to progressives again. And if that happens, he'll turn on Unifor, and he'll turn on all those unions that are backing him right now. And when that happens, there won't be anyone there to stand for them. And maybe in those moments, they'll realize that they should have stood with CUPW when they had the chance. Now, I want to be clear. Individual Unifor locals and many Unifor activists on the ground do fantastic work. And Unifor activists on the ground in communities all across this country were on those CUPW picket lines supporting postal workers. But the organization right now with what it's doing is basically saying they support Justin Trudeau over the charter right to bargain collectively and strike. That's the only interpretation that can come from this. So I just want to say this is a really sad state of affairs. Unifor has a great historical origin as the United Auto Workers and the Canadian Auto Workers that shaped this country's labor movement for the better. And now I see an organization that's raiding others on the one hand and that's supporting corporate liberals on the other, and it makes me really sad.